today we had the opportunity of going downtown Atlanta to protest on the current issues that are going on in America. And we had the opportunity of taking our children down there. So I wanted to dedicate this Hazelwood Doc episode to honing in on their understanding of what is going on. So my first question, of course, I got my baby here. This is Juju. So this is my oldest. He is 10 years old. Derek is very, very smart, very inquisitive, and very in tune with what's going on. So what I want to ask you is, what is your understanding of everything that's going on in the world right now?
So we have the COVID-19 pandemic that's going on. We also have a lot of racial things that have been happening in the world and a lot of discriminating against our culture.
Okay, cool. All right, so that's your understanding of what's going on in the world, which is true. There is a lot of racial tension, social injustice. I wouldn't say too much racial tension per se, because we've had people from all different walks of life that have come together for the same common reason, is the fact that we need justice to be served for these actions that aren't good. You know what I'm saying? So yes, we have social inequality and justice is not being served. All right, so my next question is, how did you feel before we went downtown? So what were some of the things you were feeling before we went down there?
I felt scared, anxious, and highly alerted.
Highly alerted, okay. So why were you feeling that way?
Because I didn't know what could happen, and I thought it was a lot of violence.
Okay. So you thought it was a lot of violence going down downtown. So you were like really anxious, nervous, on high alert, and that's understandable. But just know, as your parents, we would not put you in any position to where you aren't safe. So that's our job as parents, to make sure that you are safe. So that's something we don't have to worry about. Mm-hmm. All right, so my next part of the question is, how did you feel after going down there?
I felt more inquisitive to find out what happened, and I felt more safe.
More safe, all right. So explain to the people what you saw when we went downtown Atlanta.
So we saw tanks, we saw police, and we saw military.
Yes. All right, so after being in that atmosphere and seeing their actions, did you feel threatened by any of that?
No, not at all.
Oh, okay. All right, so is there anything that you kind of want to say or reflect, any comments about your experience in going downtown Atlanta to protest and witness the protesting?
Do not feel scared or afraid about it.
All right. One thing I wanted our children to know is that it is our right to protest. Now, when they get to rioting and vandalizing and looting, that's a whole different situation. And as I explained to my children, like, we don't condone it and we don't agree with it per se, but we have to be understanding that some people aren't able to express themselves in ways that are healthy. And because of the heightened sensitivity of everything that's going on in the world, we had the coronavirus pandemic, which is something that some of us majorities have never seen before. We've never seen this. We've never had to go through this sort of procedure where it's affected the entire world, not just our country. So with that going on, people aren't working, kids aren't going to school, and so now we're already in a mental state where we can't control what's going on around us. So people are having to readjust and create new norms. So with all that going on, and then to still have to go through the social inequality, it's just kind of over it. Everyone is over it. Enough is enough. So that's one thing that we wanted to make sure that our children know. So you good? Mm-hmm. Got it? Mm-hmm. All right, we go. All right, so I also have my daughter, little Miss Lanaya. Lanaya is 8 years old. She is my firecracker, okay? She's the most cheery person I know. All right, so we're here to talk about what's going on in the world. So what is your understanding of what's going on in the world today?
Okay, So I feel like people are staying home, staying healthy, staying and doing stuff like stay healthy, brush your teeth, wash your face, washing your hands, and they're not doing stuff on a normal basis like they would do on a normal basis, like wash your hands, go out, go eat and stuff. So and the people are protesting, people are fighting for the rights, people are fighting for the wrongs. People all around the world are doing the right thing by going out and protesting for the rights and wrongs. I know police officers and even armies might be a little tough on the humans here, and you would think that they're being tough, but some of them are, some of them are not. But I think that they are doing their rights and some people are doing their wrongs. So that's what I think is happening in the world today.
So how did you feel before we went downtown? What are some of your feelings before we went down there? What were you thinking? How were you feeling?
Well, first, I was a little scared because I knew that people were getting hurt and people were getting not that well treated at the protest, and people weren't getting that treated well on the protests because they thought that their protest was better and stuff. So I was a little scared. But then, as soon as we got closer and closer, I felt it came my confidence, and I thought it's not so bad because people will fight for their rights. People will get their rights right, and people will get their rights wrong. But I know that the people will stay there and help others and respect, and some people will not. But I'm hoping that most of the people were there to help, and like less people there to not help. So that's what I thought before we went downtown.
Okay, so before we went down there, you were scared. You sound like you were a little scared because you were scared that people were being violent and all that stuff was happening. But then after you got down there, you were able to see that it was peaceful. So no one was fighting, no one was doing anything crazy. People were just expressing themselves. They had shirts, they had signs, but everyone was being respectful of each other and they were being helpful. All right, so how did you feel after we left and you saw that everything was good? How did you feel?
So when we left, I was excited because we took some pictures. We met Army, and we did a lot of stuff. We did fun stuff. We ate. We did some fun stuff. So I was relieved. I was like, yay, because it wasn't so bad after all. So I was like, that was a good protest. Everybody had their signs. Everybody had their shirts, and it all ended up good in the end.
All right, sounds good. So is there anything that you want to tell the people? Anything else about your experience, how you were feeling?
Yes, I would. And if you are decide to go down to the protests and the fight for their rights, that is a good decision because I at first loved to go. I wanted to go and see everybody here wanted to go. And when people fight and go for their protest for their rights, that's what that makes you feel great and good about what you're doing there. So that's all I gotta say if you would decide to go down to the protest.
All right, well, sounds good. You heard it out of the mouth of the little person. All right, well, thanks, girl. Appreciate it. Awesome, did good. So how did you feel now that we had the opportunity to take our kids downtown to experience what protesting was, what everything was about? Like,
how did I feel? I would say, at first I had an idea of us going down there, being exploratory, letting our kids see what's going on, letting them experience the protests and experience what's the climate of our culture and our city was. When I got there, I felt a little different, and the experience was way different than what I expected because my son was a little bit fearful. He had more anxiety than my daughter. So I had to change my understanding of what I was down there for, and I had to get into father mode. I had to make sure that my son felt safe. I had to make sure that I was watching my daughter when she's all over the place because she's excited and she sees all of these Army military individuals. She sees all these police. She sees all the people with signs and shirts. So it was something that really opened my eyes to realize that kids see this from a different lens. If you have children, you have to ensure that you are understanding what they're seeing it from, and then being able to communicate with them and show them what's truly going on an adult level, as well as bring it down to a level where they can understand it as a child. So that's what I got from it today. That's how I feel about it.
Cool. All right. So for me, I guess I had a different idea of what the experience was going to be like before we got down there. In my mind, because I teach online, I'm in school mode. So I'm like, oh, it's history lesson time, y'all. We about to learn something. But then I had to kind of shift things, like my husband said, I had to shift it so that we're paying attention a little bit more to our surroundings and making sure that the kids are comfortable with what's going on and still able to get an understanding of the climate, of, you know, why these people are here, why is the military here, why are there trucks, why is there police directing traffic, why is the streets only going this direction, we can't go that way, you know. So I had to make sure that they had an understanding of everything and that they were comfortable, because safety is my number one key when it comes to our kids.
Definitely.
I don't
Safety
play
first.
He don't play about them Hazelwood kids.
Definitely.
So safety is our number one thing. And like I was telling my husband, we went down there, twice, 2-3 times now?
This is our third time.
Today was our third time going down there, and we wanted to make sure that the climate was safe enough so that we can bring our children down there so they can see and experience what is going on. Because our kids, they see us work, they see us move. We're like, okay, these are the things we do. And they're like, oh, okay, yeah, we hear you. You know, because they're kids. So they're like, yeah, we hear you. But I'm like, no, you need to see and understand. Like when we say we advocate for the communities and the people, you know,
this is what the front lines looks like.
This is what it looks like.
This is what, and I think our children have always heard it and seen it because we're in the home, and it becomes like a repeating of a recording.
Yep.
Like it's just like whatever.
Yeah, we hear you.
So when our son, and we'll be honest, our son, when we said we were going down there, he did not want to go.
Oh no.
So that's one of the things that we had to realize, because what the media is putting out there, what they're portraying in the media is that it's violence everywhere, that is highly aggressive, that the people are attacking this police and the police are attacking the people, and it's this big war and fight. And so when we got a chance to take them down there, they got to see that the military personnel was smiling. They were shaking hands. They were talking to people. They were interacting with people. They were giving people directions. You know, we didn't really interact with any police. Yeah, we did. We interacted with the police traffic guy.
Oh, yeah.
He was doing the traffic.
Yeah.
And my son, he actually put his guard down when he saw that the police was smiling and that he was directing traffic. We're not to say that all police are bad. We're not here to say that the military being in your city is bad. Don't get me wrong. We don't want no military type of lifestyle. We don't want that, you know, martial law. We don't want any of those issues. And in this moment, the police can't police a protest that's against them. That makes no sense. They're going to stop it. It's trying to stop them.
Yeah.
So we have to realize that the military is needed in some situations because there is tension between the two parties. And one has authority, so we have to have an unbiased party in the midst. So for my children to be able to see that, for our children to be able to see that, I feel like it was an opportunity today to put them in the climate and get a hands-on experience of what we do. Because us telling them and you telling your children, as much as you talk to them, experience is the best teacher.
Definitely.
So we got to make sure that we're putting those experiences in their lives as well.
Most definitely.
What about you? Anything else you want to share with this world about this situation, this Hazelwood doc?
No, I mean, well, one thing that I want to say about it is, first of all, everyone be safe.
Please be safe if you protested.
And make sure that you have an understanding. Like we said, we took out our time to make sure that our children have an understanding. I want you all to make sure that you have an understanding and know what you're protesting about. We're protesting for social injustice. We're protesting because of the racial, the bias, all these things that are happening to Black people. And it's been happening for years and years and years. And now that times have changed, we're still experiencing this. you know, we're pretty much seeing public lynching. And what they mean by that, if you don't know, is the fact that we can still sit here with a camera phone
Definitely.
and record a person's life being taken away and justice still not being served when the evidence is right there in front of your face.
So it doesn't have to be a rope, it doesn't have to be a noose. But if everybody is sitting and watching a black man die in the midst of the streets, that is a public lynching.
Most definitely.
So I just want everybody to understand that. So when you see these people saying stop lynching us, it doesn't mean that they're hanging from trees. If a man puts his knee on a black man's back in the middle of the street in front of tens of thousands of billions and millions of people, and everybody sees him do that, he has lynched that man in cold blood in front of everyone. And so that's why you see those signs. And that's why my wife says we have to stop this. We have to stop the injustice. As you can see, we've been wearing shirts. Mine says, I stand for the disenfranchised. My queen says, love, not hate. And this is what we're standing for. And you all know that stand together and make peace is what we scream, because that is our company. And from this moment forth, we will continue to show you guys that inequality and injustice will not be allowed in our country, in our spirits, in our world. And we will continue to stand together and make peace as much as we can in this cruel, cool world. And Queen, what are we?
We go.